The death toll rises as rescuers search for survivors of a deadly mudslide.
We heard some tapping on a rooftop.
Signs of life from an overwhelming scene of devastation.
There really is no stick standing in the path of the slide.
Now, as many await word on missing loved ones, others wonder if there were clear warning signs.
We have been watching that slide for the last 3 weeks.
Heartbreak tonight for so many grieving families, others hanging on to hope their loved ones will be found alive. The search for survivors will continue throughout the night. Good evening, I'm David Rose. We just received an update less than half an hour ago saying that death toll from the landslide has jumped to 8. Officials discovered the bodies today, but their recovery will take some time.
Some of the bodies have been removed and some of them have been marked, and we're going to go back there and get them.
Beginning tomorrow morning, we're going to announce a streamlined process regarding family call center, the process by which they will come into that. We'll talk about some of the information we've received and how those lists have been consolidated. We think this is going to be extraordinarily helpful to the people that really deserve it most right now, and those are the families.
James Lynch has been following the updates on the slide all day long. He is live in Arlington tonight with the latest. James?
That's right, David. As you said, that sad news came just about half hour ago, but also some good news here tonight as well, that because FEMA is here, because there are now some federal dollars and federal equipment coming into this area, night operations are now underway and will continue to be underway. That means that they will be searching 24 hours around the clock looking for survivors here, and they still believe that some can be found. In the slide area, the images are jaw-dropping, absolutely amazing. And the closer you get, the more destruction you see. It all happened in just a matter of minutes Saturday morning when the hillside gave way.
The hillside came down and pushed it all the way across the road. So there's a gigantic, from the air, there's a gigantic lake over here because the river has come over here. And what you're seeing it happen is it's draining off here, going back underneath, back to the riverbed. One
of the victims, according to the Everett Herald, is retired Darrington librarian and longtime school board member Linda McPherson. She was killed when the slide destroyed her home. And among the missing, Tom and Marcy Satterley, according to relatives. And for the first time today, search and rescue crews were finally able to get into the 1 square mile debris field to look for survivors.
We're all in a very active rescue mode. We have rescue crews, what we call tactical rescue from the fire department on both sides of the slide, working through, trying to find people that need to be rescued. And then we're using helicopters from above to try and identify heat signatures.
Keep in mind, we have a road there. That road's a mile, buried in a mile of this muck. There may be people that are in their cars. There may be people that are in houses. So we're trying to track that down the very best we can.
Governor Jay Inslee, Congresswoman Susan Del Binney, and Snohomish County Executive John Lovick toured the affected area by helicopter this afternoon and saw the destruction firsthand.
I went to Mount St. Helens 34 years ago when it erupted, and this devastation in that area reminds me very much of the devastation I saw.
Along with search and rescue, a top priority is getting SR 530 back open.
530 right now is inundated with water and flood debris, probably 10-15 feet deep. There's about a mile of it that's out of commission.
For folks in Darrington, we can report that we believe we will be successful in opening the Scenic Loop Highway using Road 20, hopefully in a matter of days rather than weeks.
The Scenic Loop or Mountain Loop Highway closes most years due to heavy snowfall. Getting it back open could take 3 or 4 days. Then there is the Stillaguamish River. It was dammed off by the slide. Upstream, it had been backing up and pooling. There have been fears of flooding, but there is reason to be optimistic tonight. The Stilly, as it is known, has made its way through the slide debris and is carving out a new channel.
It's what we expected it to do, and it will slowly start carving out a new channel, working its way back upstream, and we'll be watching that on a daily basis to track progress. But there is more water now flowing in the stream downstream, but it's coming in slow. That's good news.
Now, there have been some family members complaining about their inability to get information. So today, County Exec John Lovick released the call center number for anyone needing to ask questions or get information. It's 425-388-5088. And he promises tomorrow that they will streamline the process by which family members and friends can get information to make it easier and faster. Reporting live tonight in Arlington, James Lynch, Q13 Fox News.
And meanwhile, victims are getting help from the Red Cross tonight. Still others are showing up wondering about their missing loved ones. Tina Patel is at a shelter in Arlington. And Tina, amid all this devastation, is there any welcome news tonight?
There is a little bit, and that is that the evacuation order downstream of Oso has been lifted. But this shelter and another one in Darrington will remain open for those that did lose their home or those that just can't get back to where their homes are. Right now, we're told there's about 30 people inside, but throughout the day, more than 100 people showed up here wanting to share information and lean on each other for support. This is what residents of Oso and Darrington saw when they tried to return home today.
This is a total disaster beyond belief. Just the power of the mud and the water that came down through here. Wow.
I can't even describe it. It's like looking at pictures from Mount St. Helens and the Toutle River, and everything's covered in a gray. And it's just surreal. And it's everywhere.
No one can believe how much damage was done in just a matter of seconds. But they say there had been warning signs.
We have been watching that slide for the last 3 weeks, and every time we drive down below, and we kept looking over there, and there was another chunk. It was growing.
Today, we're hearing some amazing stories of survival. Neighbors coming together to dig out those who were trapped.
We heard some tapping on a rooftop, and it was one of our neighbors, and a bunch of people came and helped him. Took us a couple hours, but we got him out.
But there are still a number of people missing. Sherry Brewer says her daughter is starting to lose hope.
She lost a good friend. Had gone down just down the road here to feed the horses on the way back, and she's not been heard from.
Many people are turning to social media, posting pictures of loved ones who are missing, along with information about where they were last seen. Others are coming to the Red Cross shelter in Arlington. Tiffany Burdett says she didn't know where else to go to wait for news about her mom.
I just happened to see a picture on Facebook of the mudslide, and I recognized it instantly as my parents' backyard. I just want to know where she is. I just want some answers, and it's really, really hard not being in the loop or being in control.
A lot of people saying that. In fact, I spoke to a Red Cross volunteer just a few minutes ago, and he said it's such a helpless feeling here. But the Red Cross says they will keep this shelter open for the next few days, and family members that are here say they are holding out hope that now that the search is going 24 hours a day, that they'll get some answers soon. Reporting live in Arlington, Tina Patel, Q13 Fox News.
And here's how you can help the victims and rescue efforts tonight. The best way is to donate to the Red Cross. You can call 1-800-RED-CROSS, or you can text the words Red Cross to 90999, and $10 will be charged to your cell phone bill. Or you can donate online at redcross.org. If you're looking for friends or family caught up in the slide, officials are posting the names of the survivors at safeandwell.org. Here's what it looked like from above in this beautiful area before 10:45 a.m. yesterday. In the span of less than a few minutes, it turned to this. The landslide covering more than a square mile with a quicksand like mud up to 15 feet deep in some places. The forecast has improved from 24 hours ago. The dam created by the debris may not create as much of a concern as initially thought.
There are no plans at the moment, at least that I'm aware of, that could do anything effective to actually remove the pressure. As I've said, the conclusion that's been reached by the analysts is that the risk is not great enough to cause an evacuation, and that the river will find its way through some kind of a braided channel over the days and weeks to come to be relieved.
The flood warning continues for the North Fork of the Stillaguamish near Arlington through tomorrow afternoon. But there is good news. Officials say the river is slowly making its way through the slide area. That's relieving pressure on the backup above all of that mud. This same area was the site of a major landslide in 2006. Back then, a huge chunk of hillside changed the shifted channel of the Stillaguamish River. This is video from today. Officials say yesterday's landslide has forced the river to follow the old channel. The National Weather Service says that's a good thing. They expect more water to begin to find its way through the slide, slowly relieving the pressure from the blockage above. But forecasters urge that it is still too early to tell what will happen. So for now, they're keeping a flash flood watch in effect until further notice. Let's bring in our Chief Meteorologist, Walter Kelly, and let's talk about the science behind this landslide and what creates something like this to just all of a sudden fall down and crush those houses.
Well, we talked about the one in 2006. This area is very steep. It's a valley that goes like this. And so essentially you just get the water loading up on each side. And that's really all it is, David, is just too much rain rainfall. We've had more than 200% of the rainfall that we would normally expect for this time of year. It's already the third wettest March on record, David, and we still have, what, 8 or 9 more days left of this month. And remember, a lot of this started back in February. We had over 18 inches of rainfall, and it just essentially just gets caught up in this soil and saturates it.
So it wasn't a wet weekend, though. The weather was nice. So does the rain just pool at the bottom and then drag down the entire hillside?
That's essentially what happens. You think of it as just kind of a big weight, and you can just see with the pictures right there is all that water sits there, it percolates down, and it gets down to basically the bottom where all that load is, and essentially that's what creates a landslide or a mudslide, is it's just finally just too much weight, even with a couple dry days, and then it just releases everything there, especially because that area is just so steep and so severe.
So what happens if we get some more rain this week?
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, we're all talking about all the slopes in western Washington being a little too saturated from the recent rainfalls, so we, of course, got to keep our eye on that area, but just like that one lady said, they were kind of watching it for a couple days, so if you start hearing creaking or cracking or trees breaking, that kind of stuff, even here in the Seattle area, you got to watch out for some of those landslides and mudslides.
Yeah, well, we need dry weather for good search and rescue from the air and on the ground. Walter, thank you. We're constantly updating our live blog on the deadly landslide. Log on to Q13Fox.com. You'll find the latest information from our emergency responders, our reporters who are there on the ground covering this disaster, and pictures and video from the slide area. Landslide has cut off entire communities and sliced a normally busy highway in two. Next on Q13 Fox News, the detour state officials hope to have in place in the next few days. And as searchers struggle on the ground, you'll hear from a helicopter pilot and a crew finding some success in the air. The restrictions in place helping pilots stay safe and aiding in the search for survivors. Our thoughts are with those in Snohomish County tonight as we take a look at some of the powerful images from today. Let's update you now on the latest developments in Snohomish County tonight. Officials say 8 people were killed in the slide, which triggered yesterday morning. Another 8 were injured, some taken to Cascade Valley Hospital in Arlington. Others with more serious injuries were airlifted to Harborview, where 5 survivors are being treated tonight. A 1-mile section of Highway 530 is buried between Darrington and Arlington. More than a dozen people are feared missing, and the search for the survivors will continue on the ground throughout the night. Crews on 6 helicopters, including Snowhawk 1 and Snowhawk 10, landed in Snohomish just a short while ago. Tonight, Ed Rivnak, a veteran rescue pilot with Northwest Regional Aviation, describes what he saw as they searched for victims and hoisted them to safety.
This was utter devastation. It wasn't just like a town bombed out. It was a town that had been wiped out. Parts of it looked like, part of the moon. In fact, when we got there, insulation from the homes was the homes had been completely destroyed, and the insulation was floating around like snow, completely obliterated. At first, very difficult to see the survivors because they were covered in mud and they blended in with the surroundings. But as we got lower and slower, we started to see hands waving for help. And at that point, it became a priority to figure out who needed to be rescued first. We could see close to a dozen people that required rescue.
Heroes making numerous flights into the area over the last 24 hours, and amid all that destruction, they tell me they did see one sign of hope. Somebody had hung an American flag above the devastation. Officials are restricting the airspace above the slide area until Wednesday morning. Emergency helicopters are regularly conducting search and rescue missions in the area. Snohomish County officials sent us this video of some of those searches earlier today. Officials are asking all the other pilots to stay away as to not jeopardize the search. We'll be right back. These conditions leave questions of bridge safety along the North Fork of the Stillaguamish. The State Department of Transportation confirms it's monitoring all bridges that could be impacted if the debris dam breaks. A 24/7 flood watch team ensures it will stop traffic on any bridge, even the I-5 Stillaguamish River Bridge, if drivers are in danger there. Commuters could soon have an alternate route around the debris blocking Highway 530. State Department of Transportation and Snohomish County Public Works are working together to open Mountain Loop Highway. No word on just how long that might take. The Darrington School District is closed tomorrow and all conferences are canceled. Schools plan to open their doors for a late start Tuesday morning at 10:15. Then the rest of the week, plan for early releases. Arlington schools are on a normal schedule, including post-middle school. The school's gymnasium will continue to serve as a shelter throughout the week while classes remain in session. Federal help could be on the way soon. Governor Inslee signed a proclamation of emergency late last night as the first step to receive assistance from FEMA. The federal act provides either up to $5 million for help with emergency response costs and debris removal, or a major disaster declaration that would clear the way for the feds to help without a maximum dollar amount. State DOT will work separately to get help with emergency funds to repair State Route 530. No word on how long either process might take.